Town meeting day now just over 2 weeks away, but votes on school budgets may have to wait a little bit longer. A bill moving through the legislature would allow those votes to move to April 15th. The reason? Well, many of those budgets would mean large property tax hikes, and lawmakers want to find ways to reduce the impact. ABC 22's Matt Holderman joining me live in the studio with the latest here. Matt?
Yeah, Lauren, that's right. Legislators passed this bill late Wednesday afternoon, and they're hoping it can make it through the Senate and onto Governor Phil Scott's desk before town meeting day. This new bill would make amendments to Act 127, which was aimed at increasing spending on underprivileged students. But since education is funded through property taxes, that extra spending looks like it may lead to some of the highest property tax increases in the state's history for fiscal year 25. Now, that increase could be as high as 20% on average, with some towns seeing even higher increases. The change legislators are hoping to make with this new bill would essentially take some of that burden off of Vermonters and put it back on the districts in the right scenario. Now, part of Act 127 was a 5% tax cap for the districts to make sure their taxes don't increase too much when they increase their spending. But the crux of this new bill would amend that cap in hopes of causing a chain reaction of sorts, have some districts pay more in taxes, leading to them spending less in their budgets and in turn leading to lower property taxes. That is why the bill would also allow districts to move back their school budget votes. They will need extra time to craft new budgets if the amount they're paying in taxes suddenly rises. I spoke with the state's tax commissioner today, and he explained that even if this bill is signed into law, it's only a start, and there's a lot more the state needs to change when thinking about how we fund our schools.
This bill H-850 alone will not solve the acute problem that we have in the education fund this year or the long-term problem. It is a necessary step, but it's just the start of that conversation. And we've got to take a look around really the structure as a whole and what can be done to ensure that it's sustainable over the long term.
And should the bill be signed into law, districts will be allowed to move their budget votes up to any date up to April 15th. That'll give them at least a couple weeks to adjust their budgets, even though it normally takes districts months to come up with their initial budgets. For now, live in the studio, Matt Holderman, ABC 22 News.